The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great episode for us scheduled this week, but first and foremost, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, tennis shoes, coffee mugs, phone cases, you name it, I got it. Right now, if you sign up and use the promo code WELCOME, I'm going to give you 5% off of your first purchase. The link for that will be in the description of this episode. Go there, check it out. Like I said, Stupid Should Hurt merch store, promo code WELCOME. That being said, my guest today, he is an environmental health and safety manager at the Ironworks Union. He's also got his doctorate. Dr. Josh Himes joins the show. Josh, thanks for joining, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Hey, not a problem at all. So we're going to get into everything here, you know, with what you do and all that. But first, I mean, I think you're the first doctoral candidate that we've talked to on the show. So take me through a little bit of your degrees, how you got into what you're doing, and, you know, you leading up to what you're doing now.
Awesome. Well, first off, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Okay.
And I want to apologize in advance because I'm here with my 3 children, a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 4-year-old. And if you hear, sorry in advance.
You're good, man. We get it. Dad life for sure. I understand it.
101 dad life, that's for sure. So I am no longer the health and safety manager.
Okay.
I have finished school 3 weeks ago and earned my board certified Doctor of Functional Health. And we're actually opening up our own clinic, Functional Wellness Clinic, in Beaver County, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I do have a PhD in health education, and we just feel led to open a functional wellness clinic and aim to treat the root cause of what's going on with the individual instead of just masking symptoms and treating the symptom.
Hey, that's phenomenal, and, you know, good for you for doing that. That not a lot of people would want to jump into that career field for sure. But you've also had a paramedic program too as well that you were a part of too as well.
Yeah, so I volunteer in my community. I'm a firefighter paramedic. So I went through obviously a lot of school with EMT school, now paramedic school, and so my titles now obviously if I would do Josh Himes, PhD, ND, naturopathic doctor, Doctor of Functional Health, and then a national registered paramedic.
Wow, a lot of acronyms after your name then, right?
It's simplified. The goal was, in the interim of going to earn my PhD in naturopathic school, I wanted to learn medicine, understand medicine. to do IVs, intubation, perform procedures in the field, and learn things. Because then I could correlate and understand what's going on with the whole person. And I want to bridge the gap of naturopathic medicine and allopathic medicine. Because there's such a barrier there, and I hate the barrier. It shouldn't be, there should be one goal, one team, where the goal of the practitioner is to make the patient feel better.
Right.
Not about if you're natural, if you're one way, or if you're all medical. I'm for both. I'm not anti neither. To make the patient feel better is my goal.
Yeah, as someone who grew up, my mom is a nurse. She's close to retirement, though. But, I understand that because it was always, and growing up being an athlete myself, just every little bump and bruise or whatever I had, like, she was already, like, on it in her head, trying to figure, all right, how do I fix my son? It's like, Mom, it's a sprained ankle. It's a sprained ankle. It's fine. Wrap it. Give me some ice.
He's relaxed.
It's fine. But also, on the flip side of that, I grew up in an Italian household, so a lot of natural remedies for anything. A lot of Vicks. I'll say it now. A lot of Vicks, Vicks Vapor for sure. But yeah, it's different to see the both worlds and how they both can correlate and help one another. You know what I mean? My mom with the medical side, and then my dad with the Italian side, I always say, and the natural remedies and everything that we have to go through to deal with that. And and my grandmother is the epitome of natural. She doesn't believe in, she hates taking medicine. Like, there's a natural way to fix it. And for me, it's, trying to get back to a healthier place. You know what I mean? I just started a new job at a warehouse, and it is made me realize how completely out of shape I am.
You ain't playing sports anymore.
No, not at all. Not even close. It's been a minute.
For sure.
But, it's to the point now, like, my job, in my job, I walk 10 miles in a 10-hour shift. So it's to the point now, like, I didn't realize that I was this bad at shape. I thought chasing around a 13-year-old was workout enough. It's not. I'm here to tell you, everybody, it is not at all.
It's hard.
Yeah, and, it's wanted to do that. So with your functioning health program, what is obviously, the very end goal with that?
So obviously, I'm also I'm a retired professional athlete. I was a professional fighter. I've had a blessed career, and I want to use that, my background, because I'm competitive in my nature.
Right.
So when I have a patient come see me, I'm willing to take a journey with them and fight together to make them reach their goals. Sometimes I want to tell them things they don't want to hear, like working out wise. Hey, watching our kids is strenuous, but it's not a workout.
Right.
It doesn't give you that cardiovascular work that you need to get that circulation. So it's that tough love as well. But I'm going to treat that in each patient interaction like a fight. Like we're getting ready to go through camp together. And round from round to round, and we improve, we get better. That's the goal. And when they come and see us, we're going to have a multi-specialty practice. We're going to have multiple practitioners on site. When they come see me and they do initial consultation, we see what's going on. I can then tailor their program, their needs for certain areas.
Okay. And I'm glad you brought it up, because it actually brought me to my next point. You being a retired professional fighter, you were the All-American Cruiserweight champion, but the best thing, I think, it would have been in your nickname, the Handsome Hitman. I have to know, how did we come up with that nickname? Where's the kids?
Go watch the movie. I'll take. Go watch your Buzz Lightyear. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good, man. You're good.
So yes, the nickname, it sounds very arrogant and conceited, and I apologize because it's not intended for that. My godfather gave me that nickname after so many fights where I didn't get hit too much. He was like, "Oh, acting pretty handsome," so the nickname stuck. But I didn't make the nickname up. It wasn't personal given one.
Hey, I can relate to that 100%. I started doing stand-up comedy 10 years ago. This month marks 10 years of me doing stand-up comedy. And the very...
Give me something. I'm going to throw you on the spot. Give me something I love, and appreciate comedy. So please, give me something. Give me a line.
Oh, man. You know, that's where, honestly, that's where my merch line came from, the Stupid Shit Hurt merch line, is because I rally against the stupidity in the world. And one of the best things, it's a quick little story that I've been telling for 10 years. And I remember it was back when I was in college. The girl I was dating at the time, we were getting ready at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 118 degrees outside. So, yeah, it was a warm day in West Virginia where I was. Yeah, where I was. So it was a very warm day. But then fast forward to 7 o'clock that evening, we're getting ready to go out, and she looks at me and she goes, "Hey, do you think I need a jacket?" I said, me being a comic, a lot of times people try a little extra hard to be funny when they're around me, and I was just like, "Are you messing with me right now? Like, why? What do you mean?" She goes, "No, do you think it'll be chilly?" I said, "It was 118 degrees 3 hours ago." I said, "Do you know what kind of meteorological event would have to occur for the temperature to drop 60 degrees in 3 hours? Did you hear sirens? No. You probably don't need a jacket." I was like, "I tell you what, if the temperature drops 60 degrees in 3 hours, screw a jacket. You better grab a lead vest because it's going nuclear out there and planes are canceled." I said, "Even if it drops 30 degrees, it's still 88 degrees outside." Like,
wow.
Yeah. So there was a lot of yelling in my act, and like you were saying with your nickname, the Handsome Hitman. Like I said, the first time I was on stage over 10 years ago now, and I go on these long rants on stage, and I rally against the stupid people. And one of my buddies was like, "Oh man, you're just like that angry white comic that goes up there and just gets that." I am still known as the angry white comic 10 years later. So I get it with the nicknames that just kind of stick. So,
I didn't know you were white.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you didn't know that, right? I hide it well. I hide it very well. Yeah,
it's that beard.
Yeah,
it's the beard.
Absolutely, for sure. So take me through a little bit of your time boxing. Like, what got you into wanting to be a professional fighter?
It's a very unorthodox path. I actually played Division I baseball.
Okay.
Youngstown State. I left there my redshirt freshman year because I had a desire, an eager itch that I had to scratch to start fighting. I always wanted to fight. I just wasn't allowed to because of my mother.
Yeah.
And once I was over 18 years old, I was 19 years old, I said, "I'm leaving my baseball scholarship to go fight." So at 19 years old, I just ran with it. Within the first year of boxing, I became Golden Gloves champion, Pennsylvania champ, Olympic trials. Shortly after, a couple years later, obviously turned professional. A couple smaller titles, and then I went my last fight was pay-per-view, and I became All-America's champion. I had a blessed career, 53 total registered fights, traveled around the world. Great, I'm blessed and humbled to have a career I had.
Hey, man, I love talking to fighters. Combat sports is, one of my favorite sports now to watch and everything like that. I grew up watching boxing, the Alis, the Fraziers, and all that. So I get watching that to now. I need to know your opinion on this. Boxing versus MMA and this new mixed martial arts and everything and around. How do you think they correlate, or do you prefer one or the other now, being retired?
Great question. It's probably a question I've been asked thousands of times in my career. Because obviously I had opportunities to go to both, and I've done both. I've trained in Iceland with Gunnar Nelson for UFC, and in Vanderlei Silva with Jim Vegas. So I'm very versed in all the combat sports because I wanted to immerse myself in there and understand, because I respect their sport. If someone's willing to stand in front of somebody else and go to war, kudos. I tip my hat. I would say the science behind boxing is just unparalleled. The skill in boxing. And when it comes down to a street fight, people ask me this, what's the best one in a street fight? Typically in street fights, they're very, very short. They're very, very fast.
Right.
I would say that the master of one as a boxer or a wrestler is going to be the best. If somebody's a really good wrestler, they're going to ball you up, take you to the ground. Or if you're a good boxer, you're going to punch him in the mouth and take him out. And usually in street fights, typically they're very short and it happens fast. So I prefer a master of wrestler or boxing in a street fight as far as just quickly how fast street fight happens.
Right. And I get that because, like I said, I grew up watching boxing, the technical aspect of boxing and what it takes. People don't understand. Like, it's not just a brutal, you're in a cage brawl like the MMA is in the UFC and everything like that, but there's a lot of technical nuances. It's really like a dance that you're doing throughout the whole fight. And
I hate to cut you off, but here's a fun fact. ESPN did a study a few years ago to show what are the most dangerous sports in the world. And boxing is by far the most dangerous sport in the world by a landslide. I don't think MMA was till number 4 or 5, actually. Yeah. Because in MMA, obviously, you can put somebody in an armbar, win the fight, or a submission. In boxing, it's inevitable to have trauma to the head.
Right, yeah.
The amount of trauma to the head is second to none. It's going to happen in boxing in a fight, no matter what. Where you can have other sports where it sometimes happens, it does happen, it doesn't happen. But boxing, it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And, I love both sports. I actually got my wife into the MMA 6 years ago when we got together in the UFC and everything like that. Now she can't wait for Saturday night fight nights, and she's actually more excited than me now. It's awesome to see.
I love to hear that. That's awesome.
Because I still remember the day it happened. Like, she was getting dinner ready. I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch a little bit of TV while she's doing that, because the rule in our house is whoever's cooking, the other one has to get out of the kitchen. So I'm sitting there and I just found like an old rerun of a UFC fight. I was like, I'll put this on. And she kind of came walking through and she was kind of peeking at it. She's like, what the hell are you watching? I was like, it's mixed martial arts in the UFC. And I was like, in layman's terms, to explain this, it's a street fight. They put two grown men in a cage and they beat the hell out of each other for 15 minutes. And the one we were watching, the guy's face was all busted up. He was bleeding and everything like that. She was like,
gory.
Yeah, she's like, are they going to stop this? I was like, no. Finish the fight. And she was like, oh my God. And like, I saw her sit down and just kind of like, she was like, I can get behind this. This is brutal. I love it.
Intrigued. Love it.
So now it's every Saturday night. We know there's fight nights on UFC and we can't wait to watch it.
That's awesome. And that's one of the things, like, being an athlete, I have so much respect for the athletes, and it's one of the things I want to treat in my clinic. I want to have athletes come because I can relate to them in a different way. I've been there, done it before, and I just have much respect for whether it's soccer, boxing, football, no matter what it is. I have much respect for all athletes in general, and for all the combat sports. Like I said, I'm not jaded towards one or biased. They're all amazing. And actually, I'm getting my son into jiu-jitsu next week. Because when I was approached, Josh, let's get him into a program. I don't want to get him into boxing. As much as I love it, I think it's an amazing sport for street fight and stuff. I don't want my son to have the trauma to the head.
Right.
So I'm going to get him jiu-jitsu so he can learn the ground game and learn that without taking the abuse for his little head too young.
No, I get that wholeheartedly. My son plays football and he's on the line, so he's cracking heads every play. He missed the game this year with concussion, first time in 6 years of him playing ball. His 8th grade year, he missed the game, and I could see the switch flip in his head, like, oh, okay, like this is, and now I could see him like starting to worry about it. It's like now I'm trying to coach him up a little bit, like, hey, dude, yeah, concussions are part of the sport. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, right now there's no treatment for it. Rest.
There is. I'll actually have something for it.
Okay, then it's news to me.
So it is news to a lot of people because they've been keeping it under wraps a lot. So the U.S. Navy for divers have been being treated since like 1940s, 50s, 60s for hyperbarics treatment. Now I have the science and the data to prove what I'm about to tell you right now.
Okay.
If somebody is in a football game and they receive a hard blow and that they're concussed and they have a concussion, if they come to my clinic within 2 hours, I could reverse that concussion within an hour. Proven data and science to back it up.
That is phenomenal.
I have the studies. I've had the testimonies to prove it as well.
That's phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal.
So I would love for combat sports, for football, for anybody who's going to be battling head trauma, to be aware and be mindful that you can have definitive treatment where you come see us at our clinic. We're going to have this hyperbaric oxygen therapy available and accessible to everybody, where it's not deemed medically necessary, even though they know it works. It's not deemed medically necessary unless you have like wound healing or trauma or car accident, and insurance won't cover it. So we're not going to take insurance in my practice because I don't want the insurance to dictate how I treat a patient. If the patient and the provider agree on what the treatment is, that's what it's going to be, and we're going to make things accessible to the client, everyday client.
That is phenomenal. Like just to know that's out there, you know what I mean, and to know like that stuff exists gives me a better argument to him now, because now he's thinking he doesn't want to play high school ball because of the concussion and everything like that. And you know we're working through it right now, but you know, knowing that, like, I now have an argument. I can argue anything with him, and I now thank you for that. That's a little. I'm putting that one right in my pocket.
And if you need, I could always show you. Documentation showing before and after brain scans, the science behind it.
Absolutely. I got to get into this too here as well. You're also the co-founder of Fight to Fight, which is, you know, the economic empowerment. How did that come to be?
So, Fight to Fight is our nonprofit that my wife and I started and founded. Whenever my brother-in-law was going through cancer, we couldn't be there 24/7 for him, so we found ways to inspire people through music and boxing. Motivational speaking, therapeutic boxing, uplifting music, and just people would just go from hearing the word that they're a fighter, everyday fighters, abuse, cancer, addiction. We all go through fights, especially mental health. Right. We all go through battles. And Fight to Fight has traveled the world, impacting the lives of people who are battling secret battles, live battles, public battles, and just making a difference where somebody is ready to give up, and the next day when we leave, they're willing to fight again.
That's
been a blessing.
That's phenomenal. I've lost a lot of family members and friends to this fight. A lot of the fights, you know, the addictions, the cancer, everything. And, you know, just knowing, you know, that you took the time to start this nonprofit, your wife and you, that's just, I had to get that into the show because that's something I definitely wanted to talk about for sure. But I'm going to switch gears a little bit because you also have by far the most difficult job on the planet. As we could hear, you're a father. So how do you balance everything that you do while being a dad?
Oh, I always tell everybody I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I apologize from the start. They haven't stopped for a second.
Good,
I have a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 4-year-old, and then just nonstop pandemonium. For years, the last 8-9 years that I've been in school, it's been work, go to the gym before work, work out, study, night school, for just years and years and years and years. And then obviously once I retired from boxing, I was going to focus just more like sleep, work, study, sleep, work, study.
Get that sleep in there.
But it's a grind, and if it was easy, everybody could do it. But it's not. It's a challenge, and that's just like health. People treat their health, they take it for granted until it fails them.
Yeah, that's true. There's nothing else to say, but that's the best way to put that. You know, I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and it's phenomenal to see. But your wife also has a kind of an interesting career. She's actually a country singer.
So if I was a fighter, but I wasn't a dumb fighter. I married up. So I married. I have a beautiful wife, Bryn Marie, singer-songwriter. Has toured with Pat Benatar, Cheap Trick, Speedbag, and Heart. Videos on Billboard, CMT. She's done very, very well in her career, and that's why we chose to utilize her career, my career in boxing, to create Fight to Fight and how we can impact every day.
That's awesome. I'm a huge country music fan. and everything like that. But just some of the names that you were saying that she's gotten to sing with. I mean, that's I don't know like even how to explain the level that those people are on. And then like you said, you married up for sure, my man. Like that's.
That's why I left boxing and went to go to school to be a doctor.
Absolutely, you had to one up her a little bit.
I said, babe, you got it. I'm done fighting.
I don't need this. I got you.
I need you. I need to have kids.
Lock that down immediately.
3 kids in 2.5 years. That's how I'll stay.
Yeah, that's. I
don't put someone in quarantine.
I know how hard one is. You know what I mean? And he's a teenager to boot. So that's a whole nother level of. I realize that there they are. Gotta love it, man. I've now said that. Unfortunately, I would love to tell you like, oh, when they get older, it gets better. Unfortunately, my man, I can't.
Thanks, man. Shoot me straight.
I can't do it to you, man. My 13-year-old, and I only have myself to blame for this. Being a comedian, I'm quick-witted. He's faster than me, and
that's your fault.
It's 100% my fault. I understand it. I accept it, but it doesn't help. Like, my wife's like, "You're gonna have a stroke. You need to just relax." All the time.
You better relax. You better come see me as soon as the gate will open up.
Absolutely, my man. Definitely will.
No stroke for you, all right?
Yeah, for sure. But I tell her all the time, like he goes 0 to 100 real quick. It's like I idle at 75. Like I'm not. It's not a big jump for me. It's where I'm at.
Yeah,
for sure. But we are running down near the end of the episode, and I have to get this segment in. Otherwise, the manager of the podcast will absolutely kill me, Johnny Fitty Falcone. This is the Fast Fitty 5. 5 random questions from the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. These are going to be kind of rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to. And Josh, he sent these to me today, so we're going to read these together.
Shoot it to me.
All right. Question number 1. In your opinion, is cycling class a legit workout?
It's a workout.
Okay. Question number 2. Would you rather be a professional racquetball player or a professional ice skater?
I can't ice skate, so I'd rather be a racquetball player.
Okay. Are crab legs overrated or underrated as a meal?
Crab legs are great. I love them, and they're good. The best diet I always tell people is a just eat real food diet.
Yeah?
It's real food. It's good.
All right, guys. Ooh, I got to know this one because we're both of the Italian faith in here. So what's the best holiday for food, Easter, Thanksgiving, or Christmas?
Now, you said you're Italian, obviously.
Yep.
You don't realize how dago I am. I speak Italian.
Okay.
Tutto italiano. Yeah, we're all. I mean, my wife's Italian. She's Sicilian. I'm Calabrese. So we make Italian food not just the holidays, but all year long. But I would say they probably do it. My family does it best. Easter, because it's not all the sweets as well.
Okay.
I'm not a big sweets guy. So like Christmas, obviously, and Thanksgiving, you're going to have all the added pies and cakes. So Easter's more big for just like the main courses over the sweets.
I get it, and I respect that 100% because I'm with you on that one. All right, last question here. Would you rather be the tallest man in the world or the most flexible man in the world?
No brainer, most flexible man in the world. But to go back to question number 1, cycling. It is a workout. It is better than nothing. I prefer to do groundwork, road work over cycling, though, with actually hitting the pavement, pounding the pavement with the run or jog or sprint.
Okay. I respect that for sure. Absolutely. Well, that was the Fast Fitty 5. Pretty mild questions. I'm gonna say that for anybody who knows Fitty. Those were mild questions.
That was good. He worked with us.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, we are running down near the end of the episode. Josh, I give every guest this opportunity. I'm going to give you about a minute. If there's anything you want to promote, anything you want to get out there, whether it's your fight to fight, your whatever you got going on, the floor is yours, my man.
Awesome, thank you. I want to say we are opening up. We're having our grand opening for our clinic next month. It's going to be called Pro Health Place. We chose Pro Health Place because pro from pro boxing, pro athletes, pro health, like for your health. There's just so many things you can say with pro, but pro boxer to pro health. Pro Health Place opening mid next month. Grand opening. It's a functional wellness clinic. We are so excited to be in the Pittsburgh area and hopefully just reach all the people locally and help bridge the gap from naturopathic and allopathic medicine.
Hey, that's phenomenal. Everybody needs to go and check this man out for sure. I will have all of his information and everything in the description of this. He's phenomenal to talk to you here, Josh. Thank you again for being on. This was great to talk to you, especially the boxing aspect, your wife being the country singer and everything like that. You know what? Just what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, my man. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much. Take care and God bless. Appreciate everything.
Hey, not a problem. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. Again, I want to thank Josh Hines for jumping on. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week.
Recording stopped.
The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.